The copper scroll is a component of the amazing collection of documents from the 1st century that were found in Qumran caves and are commonly referred to as the Dead Sea Scrolls. But the Qumran library's other documents are not at all like the copper scroll. Scholars believe it was placed in the cave at a separate time than the other ancient writings because it is so unusual among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Its author, handwriting, style, language, genre, content, and medium all differ from the other scrolls. Professor Richard Freund said that the copper scroll is probably the most important, the most unique, and the least understood. An archaeologist uncovered the copper scroll, which is currently on exhibit at the Jordan Museum in Amman. But Bedouins found the majority of the Dead Sea Scrolls. On March 14, 1952, it was discovered in Qumran, behind Cave 3. It is known as 3Q15, since it was the final of the 15 scrolls found in the cave. This scroll was written on metal, a mixture of copper and roughly 1% tin, as opposed to the other scrolls, which were written on papyrus or paper. Since traditional methods could not be used to unroll the corroded metal, the scroll was divided into 23 strips in 1955, and then stitched back together. Its language seemed distinct from the others. The Hebrew had more in common with the Mishnah's language than with the literary Hebrew of the other Dead Sea Scrolls. The person who had overseen the scroll's opening, John Marco Allegro, quickly typed up its contents. Then it became evident that its content was extremely distinctive. The copper scroll had a list on it, unlike the other scrolls which were literary masterpieces. This was no typical list. Instead, it included directions to 64 spots with incredible amounts of riches to be discovered. 63 of the places mention estimated gold and silver treasures in the metric ton range. 3 places had scrolls, and tithing vessels are mentioned among the other vessels in the entries. It seems that priestly robes are mentioned in one entry. The scroll lists more than 4,600 talents of precious metal in total, indicating a total value of more than $1 billion. 42 talents lie under the stairs in the salt pit. 65 bars of gold lie on the 3rd terrace in the cave of the old washer's house. 70 talents of silver are enclosed in wooden vessels that are in the cistern of a burial chamber in Mattia's courtyard. 15 cubits from the front of the eastern gates lies a cistern. The 10 talents lie in the canal of the cistern. 6 silver bars are located at the sharp edge of the rock, which is under the eastern wall in the cistern. The cistern's entrance is under the large paving stone threshold. Dig down 4 cubits in the northern corner of the pool that is east of Kolit. There will be 22 talents of silver coins. It is believed that the scroll's treasure is the Jewish temple's treasury. According to some academics, it belonged to the first temple, which was demolished in 586 BC by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. The scroll's dating, which places it between 25 and 100 AD, makes this theory improbable. According to suggestions made by other experts, the treasure might belong to the Second Temple. But according to ancient accounts, the temple's greatest treasure was remained inside when the Romans took control of the structure. That does not, however, rule out the likelihood that some of the treasures were removed and hidden before the Romans came. However, there are plenty of people who are far more interested in where it is right now than in its origins. Many expeditions have gone out to uncover the valuable cache, which has led to one of the largest treasure hunts in history because of the copper scroll. Finding the prize is not an easy task, though. The locales are described with the assumption that the reader is familiar with the cryptic allusions. Take verses 1-3 in column 2, for instance. In the salt pit that is under the steps, 41 talents of silver. In the cave of the old washer's chamber, on the 3rd terrace, 65 ingots of gold. Such instructions are useless without a beginning point. Moreover, it's possible that the treasure has long since vanished after being pillaged by the Romans 2 millennia ago. However, this hasn't deterred the fans. Under John Allegro's direction, one of the biggest treasure hunts ever was conducted in 1962. The team discovered many possible burial sites for the wealth by exploring some of the locations indicated in the scroll. Still, they eventually came up empty-handed, and in all the decades that it has been available, the copper scroll has produced nary a single tangible discovery. A more modern optimist has deduced that the scroll's primary objective is to describe the location of the lost temple utensils, not gold and silver treasures. Jim Barfield believes he has located some of the spots in the vicinity of Qumran by employing triangulation techniques with the information revealed in the scroll. Regarding Barfield's findings, a breaking Israel news report states that in 2007, he went to Qumran and actually found those locations. In one instance, the scroll depicted 40 cubit-long steps that led eastward. In fact, Barfield discovered stairs that fit the description. Additionally, he found the remnants of a pool that was precisely 40 cubits long and located exactly where the scroll indicated, but he was unable to proceed further without official authorization. Given the current political climate in the area, it is not unexpected that the Israelis exercise caution in deciding who has access to search their territory. The results of this inquiry, along with any other serious attempts to follow up on readings of the scroll, will for the time being be stymied, because the likelihood of permission being granted for any significant excavation or investigation seems a long way off. It will undoubtedly continue to pique the interest of academics and the general public for generations to come, but for anyone with a hint of the Indiana Jones spirit, it remains an intriguing and alluring relic.